Mr. Pig finally gains consciousness following a deep slumber and wonders where he is. In the meantime, Jess also wakes up and is extremely relieved that Mr. Pig is finally awake. Hearing this, Mr. Pig remembers what happened to him and questions if Jess used that guy's black wrist on him, to which she replied positively. She explains that she was able to make it work by combining them and left the remaining wrista back at the mansion. Mr. Pig expresses his gratitude for saving him as Jess hugs him tightly. She further explains that they are stuck in a northeastern Kiltiri forest, and if they keep following the tracks, they might come across some small villages. Mr. Pig is not sure about this and questions if this path will take them to the royal capital. Jess asserts that if they keep heading north, they will eventually come across a tall mountain where the capital is located. Mr. Pig then asks whether she is rested, to which she replies positively, but he realizes that she is lying and offers her to take a ride on him. This also grants him the opportunity to feel the naked legs of the young woman, as it's his childhood dream. With this, both of them continue their journey towards the north. On their way, Jess feels a bit uncomfortable, and upon inquiring, she reveals that the chafing is a bit ticklish. This shocks Mr. Pig, as his dream encounter with a beautiful girl wasn't supposed to turn out like this. He is worried about the fact that his spine is showing a young girl how it feels during the first time. He then guides her how to sit properly, and following some failed attempts, Jess finally manages to sit appropriately. They also come across a strange creature known as Hekrippen, and Jess educates Mr. Pig about them. According to her, these animals are believed to bring misfortune, but she doesn't believe in such stuff. She also reveals that she is quite interested in history and folklore, with Mr. Pig commenting that reading is a good habit. She then asks him about the same thing, but Mr. Pig cannot let her know that he's interested in ichi manga and stuff. He makes an excuse that he's interested in mystery books and explains what mystery exactly is. Hearing this, Jess concludes that Mr. Pig's curious nature is a result of reading those mystery books, but he disagrees, stating that he is naturally a curious observer. This makes her realize that she cannot keep a secret from him, but Mr. Pig is already refraining from questioning some things, including the black wrista and the reason she is not going back to the Kiltiri household. Following this, Jess asks Mr. Pig if he will accompany her to the royal capital even after hearing her story, to which he replies positively. Jess reveals that she is heading towards the capital as a sacrifice, otherwise, she will die on the way. This shocks Mr. Pig, as Jess further reveals that this is Yema's fate. According to her, Yema women are supposed to travel to the north after turning 16, and the Yemas that manage to reach the capital never return. This answers Mr. Pig's question regarding her escape from the Kiltiri house. The collar Yema women wear contains an immeasurable amount of magic power and can be sold at sky-high prices. Even their bones and body parts can be sold in the black market, and there are people out there who make their living selling Yema collars and bodies. This is the reason she left the Kiltiri house without informing anyone, as there's no knowing when information can be leaked. Hearing all this, Mr. Pig pledges that he will accompany her to the capital and will never leave her side. He believes that his turning into a pig and meeting Jess is fate, and all of this happened for a reason. With this, they continue their journey to the capital as Jess accidentally falls asleep on him. Mr. Pig also deduces that Yema hunters must function near the capital, since all Yemas ultimately reach there and they have to be careful on their way. With all of this going on, the strange creature is still following them without them noticing. Following a long journey, Mr. Pig and Jess finally reach a village, and Mr. Pig wakes her up. Mr. Pig then suggests buying a scarf, so they hide Jess' collar that identifies her as a Yema. Jess appreciates this suggestion as both of them head towards a local shop. At the shop, Jess asks Mr. Pig to pick a scarf for her, and he suggests something that will blend in with her skin tone. But, after seeing her disappointed face, Mr. Pig reverts his decision and recommends a green scarf. This makes Jess insanely happy, and she immediately buys it. He also comes across a mysterious guy with a wolf accompanying him, but ignores him. Following this, they enter a local inn where the owner greets her. She realizes that Jess must be hungry and orders her subordinate to bring some food and towel. Much to their surprise, the girl working there is also a Yema. The owner also suggests they stay the night as they won't come across another village till midnight, and Jess agrees. Suddenly, Mr. Pig notices a Yema collar hanging on the wall and warns Jess to make a run for it, but she relieves him. She then inquires of the owner regarding the collar and is informed that the collar belonged to a Yema who used to work for her. With this, they settle down as Jess further inquires about the collar and its owner. The inn owner informs them that they used to host Yemas a few years ago at the Baptist convent, but following a massive fire, they had to stop. Jess also reveals her true identity and expresses grief over that incident. She then asks if Eyes passed away during that incident, to which she replies negatively. The owner asserts that Eyes was taken away by Yema hunters, but one brave warrior brought her collar back. Hearing this, Mr. Pig realizes that this collar is a symbol of peace and solace for them. In the meantime, Mr. Pig is ogling the thin slender legs of the other Yema girl, but realizes that she can also read his mind and that he is messed up. To make up for it, he starts pretending that he's just some random pig. Following this, Jess, Mr. Pig, and the Yema girl head towards the Baptiste convent site as Jess wants to visit it. On their way, Mr. Pig questions Jess regarding that convent fire. She reveals that Baptiste convent used to shelter Yemas who turned 16 and were heading towards the capital. One night, a sudden fire broke out, killing hundreds of Yemas and other people in its rage. Some suspect that it was the Yema hunters doing and they were the ones behind all this. On their way to the site, they stop at a flower garden and pluck some of them. The other Yema girl asks Jess regarding Mr. Pig since she is feeling uncomfortable. Jess tells her that Mr. Pig is actually a human boy who mysteriously turned into a pig and they are looking for a mage that can turn him back into human. This relieves the Yema girl as she thinks he is some random pig who is staring at her legs and having perverted thoughts. This worries Mr. Pig as Jess might think he's a degenerate and vows to only stare at her legs. He is also worried that he chose the green scarf for Jess. For him, every scarf would have looked on her and he should have chosen something prettier. Jess, on the other hand, is grateful to have met Mr. Pig. For her, he possesses the purest soul and there is little deviation between his inner monologue and his actions. She then expresses her gratitude to Mr. Pig for picking out this scarf for her, which relieves him a little. This kindness of Mr. Pig is the reason Jess believes that someone really cares about her. Jess and Mr. Pig's relationship is progressing quite smoothly. I wonder if a mage can turn him back into a human, or maybe they can turn Jess into a pig. That would be crazy. Make sure to like and subscribe, so you don't miss out on anything.